If you ask most people what their number one fear is, what do you think it is? Most people's number one fear is public humiliation. Okay. I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm not afraid of it.
Mel Gibson's latest hit, Sound of Freedom, has sparked a storm in Hollywood. While Gibson is no stranger to controversy and is known for his iconic roles in films like Mad Max and Braveheart, this time, it's not just his performance making headlines, it's his fight against woke culture. 6 years ago, in an interview with John Lithgow, Gibson already warned about Hollywood's radical shift. "I've never seen Hollywood so shaken by anything. It's a little late, but we'll see how it all shakes down. Hopefully, it clears the air a little."
Never seen Hollywood quite so shaken by anything.
It's a little late.
So, we'll see how it all shakes down. Hopefully it clears the air a little bit.
For those unfamiliar, woke culture began as a push for social justice. But in Gibson's view, it has morphed into a force that stifles creativity and silences dissenting voices. In his own words, "It's a creativity-crushing, silence-enforcing beast, and I've had enough." He likens Hollywood to a group of priests who reprimand and exile anyone who doesn't align with their orthodoxy.
Generally passively sit by and tolerate any kind of nonsense, but if one of their priests utters something that resembles orthodoxy, well then they spring into action, they reprimand him, and they bully him and do their best to cancel him. And it succeed. They drum him out of the service, off he goes.
From the outset, Sound of Freedom was not welcomed by the big studios. The film not only sidesteps the playbook of political correctness, it tears it apart. It tackles the grim and devastating reality of child trafficking in Latin America, a topic that Hollywood, according to Gibson, prefers to avoid. From day one, studios tried to suppress the movie, hoping it would quietly disappear. But Gibson and his team had other plans. Instead of backing down, they crafted a brilliant strategy, a staggered release across different countries. This didn't just keep the film in the spotlight, it created a sustained buzz.
The social contract. You can't get mad. You can't get mad. You can't let it get you, because you have to make a deal with everyone else, and it's almost unspoken that you are going to be fucked over at some point.
This approach was not only clever, it was groundbreaking. Sound of Freedom didn't just break box office records, it ignited conversations about corruption in entertainment and Hollywood's hypocrisy. While most films quickly fade from theaters, this one fueled ongoing debate, revealing uncomfortable truths about child trafficking.
Sound of Freedom is smashing it at the box office and is being attacked continually by the mainstream. Is that because it's a box office success?
The industry's reaction was swift and severe. Mainstream media launched continuous attacks on the film. Why? Because Sound of Freedom posed a direct challenge to the woke agenda dominating Hollywood. Gibson, far from retreating, became the film's most vocal advocate, calling out the industry's hypocrisy, an industry that claims to care about social causes but remains silent on child trafficking.
The recruiters weren't the guys. It wasn't some weird dude in a mask, glasses, and a white van. It was a woman. It was a non-threatening person. So this 17-year-old girl recruits this 10-year-old and was horrified what happened. So she promises this girl candy and ice cream, but what she finds is a bunch of guys that kidnapped her, shot her full of fentanyl, and she had to hear this 10-year-old girl for the next 2 hours gang raped.
In recent interviews, Gibson hasn't held back in stating that Hollywood has lost its way, prioritizing a political agenda over telling real stories. And in a world where not following the rules means being cast out, Mel has been out before, but now he's back, stronger than ever. For Gibson, the real hypocrisy in Hollywood lies in its ability to cancel anyone who steps out of line while turning a blind eye when it suits them.
That's how this town has been running for so long. They'll mute you. They'll try to mute you at all costs.
Sound of Freedom has exposed the cracks in Hollywood's facade, showing that while some praise its bravery, many in the industry prefer to dismiss it as fear-mongering. But with global audience support and Mel Gibson's persistence, the film not only survived, it thrived, leaving an indelible mark on the film industry and challenging the norms Hollywood seeks to impose.
From beginning to end, it's very brief. He says, women on film, either naked or dead. Both is better. And it's like, whoa.
In today's Hollywood, where fitting into the woke narrative often seems more important than addressing real-world issues, Mel Gibson stands out as a defiant figure. While the industry projects itself as a beacon of social justice, it often prioritizes protecting its image over engaging with uncomfortable truths. By attempting to suppress films that don't align with their agenda, Hollywood has inadvertently amplified them, strengthening the messages they seek to downplay. Gibson isn't your typical Hollywood filmmaker. As the industry churns out politically correct, box-ticking productions, Gibson chooses to tell stories that challenge, provoke thought, and yes, stir controversy. Take Hacksaw Ridge as an example. It's the true story of Desmond Doss, a man who saved 75 soldiers during World War II without firing a single shot. The film is raw, emotionally gripping, and unflinchingly portrays the harsh realities of war. It isn't the sanitized Hollywood fluff that audiences have grown accustomed to, it's real, unfiltered storytelling. The result? Critics loved it, audiences couldn't get enough, and Gibson earned yet another Oscar nomination. More importantly, the film proved that people crave authentic, impactful stories, not just those that fit neatly into a politically correct framework. Now, with The Passion of the Christ, Resurrection on the horizon, Gibson is preparing to push even further. This film, deeply rooted in Christian themes, is expected to be just as, if not more, controversial than the original Passion. In today's Hollywood, where religious content is often sidestepped or diluted, Gibson's bold embrace of these themes sets him apart. His willingness to make such a film shows that he's not afraid of controversy, nor is he concerned with the inevitable backlash. It's also telling that Gibson's peers support him, even when it's not popular to do so. Robert Downey Jr., for instance, has openly praised Gibson for helping him during a dark period in his life. "When I couldn't get sober, he told me not to give up hope and urged me to find my faith," Downey Jr. has said. It didn't have to be his faith or anyone else's as long as it was rooted in forgiveness. This personal support reveals a different side to Gibson, one that's often overshadowed by his controversial public image.
Actually, I asked Mel to present this award to me for a reason, because when I couldn't get sober, he told me not to give up hope, and he urged me to find my faith. Didn't have to be his or anyone else's as long as it was rooted in forgiveness.
Yet Hollywood's reaction to figures like Gibson highlights the industry's inherent double standards. When celebrities like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson are accused of scandalous behavior, such as being involved in child trafficking conspiracy theories, the response is mixed. Some defend them, while others distance themselves quietly. But there's rarely a major uproar. Contrast that with how Gibson is treated whenever he speaks out against woke culture, and the hypocrisy is obvious.
In today's easy cancel culture world, and cancel culture, woke culture, this culture, that culture, division, etc., that really bugs me.
However, here's the key difference. Mel Gibson doesn't back down. He's seen Hollywood's darker side, endured public scandals, and faced blacklisting only to emerge stronger and with a renewed sense of purpose. For Gibson, this fight isn't just about making movies. It's about something much deeper, saving the soul of Hollywood. So what does this ongoing battle mean for the future of the entertainment industry? One thing is clear, Mel Gibson isn't going anywhere. As Hollywood continues to push its woke agenda, Gibson is standing his ground, and he's not alone. His films resonate with a growing audience that feels alienated by the direction Hollywood is headed. And his willingness to speak out, even when it's unpopular or risky, is winning him new fans who admire his defiance.
It does feel different. I think because, I don't know, I think just because I've been around longer, it's different.
Yeah.
I'm more relaxed about the whole thing, you know, because there's no point in being anything else, right?
It's true.
So, you know, I'm not going to get all wound up about it. I'm going to just try and, like, observe.
Yeah.
But this fight is far from over. Hollywood is a powerful machine, and it doesn't take kindly to being challenged. Yet, if Gibson has proven anything, it's that he's not afraid to confront the big players. Whether you agree with his views or not, there's no denying that Mel Gibson is making an impact, and Hollywood is starting to feel the pressure. As Hollywood continues to navigate the delicate balance between artistic expression and social responsibility, Mel Gibson's unyielding stance against the industry's woke agenda has made him a polarizing figure. Whether you see him as a trailblazer willing to push boundaries or as someone out of touch with modern sensibilities, there's no denying that he is one of the few in Hollywood unafraid to challenge the status quo. Gibson's dedication to telling authentic, controversial stories, regardless of the backlash, speaks to a broader conversation about freedom of expression and the role of storytelling in society.
You know, I had a whole bunch of weird paranoid suspicions about what the hell was going on because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand.
At its core, Gibson's journey is not just about challenging Hollywood's ideals, but about fighting for the kind of storytelling that doesn't shy away from difficult or unpopular truths. His work has connected with a growing segment of audiences who feel alienated by the industry's increasingly narrow scope. As Hollywood grapples with its identity, figures like Mel Gibson are forcing the industry to re-examine its priorities and confront its own contradictions. Ultimately, whether you agree with him or not, Gibson's impact on Hollywood is undeniable, and his willingness to stand firm in his convictions is a reminder that some voices will always resist being silenced. What do you think? Is Mel Gibson a visionary filmmaker leading a necessary cultural shift, or is he simply out of touch with the changing tides of Hollywood? Let us know in the comments, and be sure to like and subscribe for more in-depth updates on this evolving story.